Hey gang, Joyce Welsh with Skipping Calves Farms here. I just moved the poultry pen and the flock of hens and my big boy rooster are all over here, and I'm going to zoom in here for a bit. I want you to pay attention at what they are eating. They are not eating bugs. They're eating seeds. They're eating grass. They're eating plants. Do they eat what the sheep eat? Sometimes that rooster's going after some clover. Coppertop's going after it now. Do they eat the same things? Do they eat it in the same ways? Absolutely not. They also provide different manure profiles and scratching profiles to the soil in terms of putting nutrients back into the soil and energy into the soil for the microbes. They are different, but you'll notice there are a few bare spots. And if you let me pan back here, that's where the chicken tractor was and where the poultry pen was just an hour or two ago. And you can see where I have put straw to cover bald spots. So they will dig and scratch. Not quite like a pig will, and not quite like a sheep will. Well, graze anyway. But they do disturb the soil in their own way. So why do I have chickens? Well, number one, I have a pretty limited budget, and I can raise my chickens on virtually nothing or very, very little, even with a quality feed that I do feed them. Why? Because of what you're seeing right at my feet. She's looking for bugs, she's eating grass, she's scratching things up, she's putting energy into the soil, she's fertilizing the soil, and it's all wonderful. So, it's a good thing, gang, to have a variety of animals. Now, when you have a huge operation and there's only a handful of people, you have to focus and keep the main thing the main thing. I've got a very small property here, and it's just me. But part of what I'm doing from a learning and teaching standpoint is diversity. If there is a single fundamental principle of nature, it's the power and strength of diversity. What do they say? A three-string cord is not easily broken. If you've got a four-wheel vehicle, it's a whole lot more stable than a tricycle, a bicycle, or a unicycle. I hope I made my point. Anyway, something to think about. If you are going to go into multiple animals and multiple enterprises, one of the most important things you can do in terms of planning is find out how do they integrate and complement each other versus competing with each other, number one. And number two, are you going to have the time and energy to give each enterprise, that's really what it is, what it is due so that it can succeed. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know I got started on the farming, property, animal journey with bees because my original garden didn't get pollinated. Well, beekeeping is a wonderful enterprise, but it is extremely labor intensive, and it requires a lot of hands-on and lifting and experience and specialized knowledge. And it's extremely important because 30 to 60% of the total world's food production is dependent upon pollination by the European honeybee. And if my memory serves me right, the European honeybee is now on the endangered species list. So we can't be too far behind that. However, I'm no longer working towards being a commercial beekeeper. Because it is so labor intensive, you really have to focus principally on that and not much else if you're going to be a small operator like I am. So I just have a half a dozen hives, which is more than enough to provide my needs for my property and my personal needs in terms of honey and propolis and pollen and things like that. So those are the kinds of questions and things you've got to look into when you're planning. How much overlap can I get in my energy and effort? I get pretty good overlap on this scale with 3 sheep and 7 hens. I get pretty good overlap. If I was running 300 head of cattle and 200 head of sheep on 1,600 acres, I would not be getting the same vertical integration. So those are things you need to think about before you go out and build a chicken tractor and raise your hens. So holistic management really is a very, very good system to help kind of teach you how to think. It is so technical and it is so detailed, and it really doesn't need to be. That's one of the reasons why I appreciate the grazing school with Greg Judy and Ian Mitchell-Innes. They are able to take all the fundamental principles of holistic management and planning and how to control the land, how to set up an enterprise, and how to make it profitable so you and your family can build healthy soils, healthy plants, healthy animals, and have an absolutely awesome lifestyle. But it takes planning, it takes focus, it takes humility, and it takes work. But you can work a lot less hard if you learn to work smart. So with that, gang, I will wish you blessings for the day. Please like and subscribe if you would. And whatever you do, just keep chasing the dream.